What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Commodore Lads here today, bringing you to my review of One Piece manga chapter 905, titled A Beautiful World. Now, the last couple chapters of the Reverie arc have been pretty crazy. 903 was an all-time chapter. 904 was a really good chapter, but 905 in itself, man, just had so many things that I just thoroughly enjoyed. And that's one of the reasons why I love about One Piece, is that whenever we get into these little transitional moments in the story where we get to see the point of views of different characters, interactions, the world building and stuff, that's where really One Piece really shines. And the world building itself really took place here, man, because we got to see like the new Marineford base and stuff that they had set up over in the new world, the outlook of it, the design and everything for it. And I gotta say, man, two things, because the first thing I kind of noticed, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like how Big Father and Capone's ability and stuff, where we see like all the cannonballs and stuff all placed off in different windows, little areas and everything, and kind of reminded me of that for some reason, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, it's just like a big, Big Father with like the Marine logos on it and stuff. And the background of it, which is pretty funny, because it had like the wings of like a seagull and stuff in the background, but it kind of looked like an M, like almost like you go to McDonald's and stuff, you see like that big M and everything as you go through the drive-thru and stuff. I'm like, somebody's making a Happy Meal in the back room or something, I don't know. But we got to see the reaction of Akainu finding out that Fujitora is actually a Mary Joie attending the Reverie. And he's like asking himself, like, what the hell, man? I give out orders. I say that you're not allowed to be at a Marine base unless you bring me the head of like, Luffy and Law. And like, he's just there. He's just like disobeying my orders. And it was pretty crazy because we actually got to see T-Bone in this chapter. Like, I was looking at it and I'm like, wait, who the hell is this guy? He looks familiar. And that's T-Bone, going back to like the Water 7 arc when, Zoro took care of him on the train and everything. And like, it was pretty cool just seeing him there. And I guess, yeah, he pretty much survived that attack and stuff. But him kind of relaying the news afterwards, saying like, what Fujitora's reasoning was for being there. He's like, well, it's just simple. Like, it's not a Marine base. I can go there if I want to. And then, Akainu was like, yo, this guy's being a smart ass, it's a technicality and stuff. So he went ahead and decided to send a certain admiral to go after him by the name of Greenbull, which we'll cover them in a second. But we want to go into like the other stuff that we got to see in this chapter. We get to see in this chapter exactly how people actually move all the way up to Mary Joie, how they actually get there, because it's not going to be like a little sea or a little road that they get there, and it's like these little crafts, kind of similar to almost like the blimps and stuff you would kind of see similar in like Hunter x Hunter a little bit, and they have like the little bubbles and stuff, little lifts that actually sends them up all the way to the surface. So I thought that was pretty cool, actually getting to find out exactly how they get to Mary Joie using these little bondolas and stuff. And we had to see like a lot of the kings and queens from the other kingdoms have been talked about, going back to chapter 823. We got to see, I think it was Beard the Sixth, I think was his name, Hamburger, Tacos, Queen Moron and stuff. And I feel like with their characters, it's like they're probably not going to get as much coverage and interaction opposed to characters like, Dalton Correa, Wapol, Vivi, Cobra, King Riku, like those people that we've actually spent time in their own territories and their own respective arcs, that they're not going to get that kind of same treatment as opposed to the characters we've seen before. But at least getting to see the names and exactly who they are and stuff. And granted, it does kind of feel like a bit of like a food theme going on. You have a character on beer, a hamburger, tacos, and then one based on a rice cake and stuff. So again, I don't feel like they're gonna be that important, but just getting to see the designs and their names and everything, I thought was pretty cool. And then afterwards, we get to see like Shirahoshi and the rest of the fishermen make their way finally to the port and getting ready to set up to go on their way to about the gondolas and stuff. But a certain person actually makes their way there, man, and I'm like, yo, I haven't seen you in 7 years. I may not have forgiven you in that time still of what happened, but it was so good to see, man. Monkey D. Garp, man, the Fist of Love back in the story. I mean, it's just crazy that like, on the weekly experience, man, since I've been reading the series weekly since like the end of like Punk Hazard, finally getting to experience Garp in the main timeline, man, weekly, it's just a great feeling. And he's still the same as ever, man. He still has the Vice Admiral rank. He has like now like black garbs and stuff, black clothes and everything on, like the suit and everything, and he still has the Marine jacket on, and he still has the same personality as we knew as before and everything. So still love and caring. He's still a bit of a troll and all that. I mean, we got to see like his interactions with Stelly in this chapter, who we got to see. And Stelly's design looks exactly how I picture it would be, pretty much similar to how he was as a kid, but just more adult based, basically. He's like the same person in adult form. And we actually got to find out exactly, how he became king and stuff, because, the previous king of Goa Kingdom and the prince and stuff had suffered like some mysterious death. Something that happened, and then eventually, not too long ago, it was like a few months before the events of right now, is when Stelly actually became the king of the Goa Kingdom. But I did feel like the little things that we got in this chapter in regards to the little tidbits of kind of like retelling exactly who Stelly was, I think that was stuff we didn't really need. If anything, it probably could continue on exactly how Stelly came into power, instead of like just saying in one little paragraph the mysterious death and then he just got in there after. So I feel like maybe we're gonna get more information, maybe in an SBS or something, but who knows? But just seeing like the interactions between, you know, him and Garp and stuff was just pretty hilarious. Like Garp's like, who the hell are you? Like, you know, you're asking me to become like a world noble and stuff. You know, like, I'm not gonna give you that. Like, for a mongrel like you, fat chance, man. That's not gonna be happening. And even seeing like the interactions between, like, you know, Stelly and the fishman after, and kind of saying like, you know, these guys are like the creatures I've been hearing about, these half fishmen and stuff, that if you interact with them too long and stuff, you can get like, you know, rare diseases in your body. And it kind of goes back to tell you like the perception of how the fishmen are treated on the surface and stuff. You know, how, you know, anytime society kind of wants to warp the mindset and kind of like, you know, tell you pretty much one thing when it actually isn't true. That's kind of being shown right here, as Stelly's upbringing pretty much tells you one thing when we actually see in the story that that's not really the case. So it kind of just goes to show you how crazy society is in the One Piece story and how they kind of view things. And we even got to see in this chapter my boy Big News Morgans, and he actually does know the fact that Luffy, Ace, Sabo, Dragon, Garp, all were born in the Goa Kingdom. So it's pretty interesting to know that he actually knows this kind of news, because you would figure it would be kind of secrecy, especially for someone like Luffy, knowing exactly where he was from. Now, one of my favorite parts of this entire chapter, I think, had to come when we got to see, like, you know, Shirahoshi and Garp as they're going up the gondolas, going up straight to Mary Joie. And I kind of noticed this, you know, it's a little thing, but you know, Garp, you know, when he was like waving to the people and stuff, kind of reminded me a little bit of like, you know, Luffy's current bounty poster and stuff, with him waving with, you know, eyes closed, smile out and stuff. I kind of noticed, like, yeah, it does see like a lot of like, you know, Luffy and Garp at the same time, nor a lot of Garp in Luffy. But the big thing I really liked in this chapter was that double spread we got to see, where Shirahoshi's kind of looking at the sun and seeing like the view of the ocean and everything. This is the first time in her entire life that she's ever seen a view like this. And, you know, kind of going back, you know, to what her mom has been trying to do, you know, trying to unite, like, you know, the fishmen and the humans, you know, and trying to, like, you know, stop the whole concept of racism and everything. And, you know, for people to come together and, you know, love one another. I felt that was really cool. And then, you know, Shirahoshi kind of saying in this chapter she wants to be able to, you know, live up here with her family and friends and stuff, and be able to witness this kind of sunlight every day. I thought that was some really cool stuff there, because, you know, showing that generosity and, like, you know, her, how genuine she is pretty much in that moment, like how she really wants to have a life like this. And I know her life pretty much is in jeopardy at the moment, you know, just being there in a vicinity. If someone were to find out exactly that she is the ancient weapon Poseidon, that dream that she's looking for right now is dead in the water. And honestly, like, I do fear for her, but it was really cool just seeing that kind of, like, you know, her emotion really ringing out, and kind of seeing, like, you know, she really wants this kind of moment. She wants to be able to live on the same surface as everybody else and kind of unite as one. But then the big stuff that came in this chapter, man. So we head off back to Mary Joie, and we see a certain person, you know, just laying by like a little, like a lawn chair and stuff, just like chilling out, talking to a certain person. We flip the page and we find out that it's Fujitora sitting down, having some couple noodles and stuff. And he's chatting it up with a certain individual by the name of Ryogoku, or should we say Greenbull, man. And even though we didn't get to see his full appearance, we got to see like a shadowy figure, kind of similar to what we saw with Blackbeard back in 903. Pretty cool stuff that we got to find out in this chapter, because with him, he has his own distinguished laugh, you know, rahahaha. We also got to find out too that he's someone who fasts, and he hasn't actually eaten in 3 years. Apparently he has a sister, based on translations and stuff, from whatever translation you read. He apparently has a sister and stuff that we usually feed him and everything. And he's someone that doesn't want trouble with Fujitora, because, you know, he recognizes that, you know, the time's not now. We're not, if anything's gonna go down, I'm not here to come and fight you. That's not what I want. We're not going to do anything like that. But it was interesting, you know, getting to see the interaction between the two of them. Them even talking about Vegapunk as well, and the whole thing about the Shishibukai system being abolished and stuff. And, you know, he's like telling him, like, you know, you're crazy for even thinking about this, Fuji. Like, you know, it was pretty cool just seeing like their interactions and stuff. And hopefully we get to actually see the full design for Greenbull eventually soon. It's kind of hard to make exactly what eventually, you know, his devil fruit could be. I know some people are saying it has to be something based on, like, you know, plants or nature, maybe something of photosynthesis is how he's able to survive. Because, you know, put it logically, man, if you don't eat for 3 years, let alone for like a week or a month or whatever, man, you're dead. So unless he's like drinking water and stuff, you know, at the nighttime or anything, I don't know exactly how he does it. But yeah, just getting to see Greenbull in this chapter, I thought it was pretty damn cool. And hopefully we get to see that full appearance design a little bit sooner than later in the story. But the part in this chapter, like, I was liking this chapter, right? I was really liking this chapter. I felt like, man, it was a really good chapter so far. But what could really take it up to the next level? And we get to see, man, Stelly looks out into the distance and stuff and kind of sees, like, you know, apparently there's a giant in the wall. And right off the bat, it was Morley. And I was kind of livid about this, because I was waiting until, like, you know, the next time we kind of move away from the revolutionaries to kind of make this idea, this theory, that Morley is going to be pretty much the key getting into the Reverie, you know, using his ability with the harpoon, going through the red line, Lindbergh possibly using like his own technology to kind of like, you know, pinpoint a way to be able to get in there, and maybe something to do with Karasu using his actual Delphic ability with the crow to kind of, you know, like kind of similar to like what Momonosuke would use with Zunisha when he was able to see through Zunisha's eyes, kind of him doing the same thing with the crows instead, being able to see like, you know, a safe spot they can go into, Lindbergh using whatever his tracking device is or his inventions to be able to lead them there, and then Morley pretty much being the one to actually get them through in the red line. So I was like thinking to myself, man, like it would have been so nice to talk about this, and it just had to happen now, man. Like Oda like just killing theories right away, man. It's like, you know what, the second you see something, you gotta talk about it right away. But it was really cool getting to see that. Karasu, you know, with his crows and stuff are in the area. The wind is shaking. Dragon is not too far behind. But the interaction, that was like, oh my god.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Like, right away, I just said to myself, if I make the thumbnail for this chapter afterwards, it's gotta be Big Boss from Ground Zero saying, kept you waiting. Like, I was like, there's no way. There's no way Sabo is legit within arm's length of his brother Stelly. Stelly's like saying he see a giant in there, you know, just stop these birds from trying to attack the bubbles and everything. And he's like, don't worry about it. They're not going to do a thing, King Stelly. And the man lifts his helmet. I'm like, it's Sabo. Like, how the hell do you end on a cliffhanger like that? It's just like, and I know Oda. I know Oda is going to tease us away from that. We're not going to get to see the Revs after the next chapter. He's going to move on. They're going to be already up at Shawa, chilling, waiting for the thing to start. And then we're probably going to move on to somebody else afterwards. But it's like, why would you hit me with that of all cliffhangers? Like, I was anticipating this to happen during the actual Reverie. I didn't think after 904, we're going to get these two literally within arm's length. You know what I mean? Like, Sabo, if he wants, he's probably going to whack his ass for all the stuff that he did to him back in the day and stuff, and how he treated him, and probably had his family, you know, annihilate him and stuff. Like, wildness, man. I was just like, so, like, I couldn't believe Oda actually did that, man. Like, Sabo's right there, man. Yo, he canned his ass, man. But it was a really good chapter. Honestly, that cliffhanger itself really did, you know, did a number on me. I was just like, man, why in the hell do you have to end the chapter now? I gotta wait a whole week and stuff. But it was still a really good chapter, man. I mean, my only gripes really about it were like, you know, how the importance of like the kingdoms and stuff, you know, like kings and queens were kind of treated, and especially that little tidbit stuff with Stelly, I kind of felt was not needed. And if anything, it should have been extended on what we found out in this chapter about how he came into power. I think it should have been done like that. But everything else in this chapter, though, was just really damn good, man. Just seeing Garp back in the story, getting to see, like, Shirahoshi, you know, like, her wanting to live under the sunset and stuff with her family. Just seeing, like, you know, Greenbull and Fuji discussing about, you know, with Vegapunk, you know, what's going on with the Shishigai system and everything was pretty cool. But just getting to see the Revolutionary Army, man, I thought, just damn. The invasion is about to begin, man. The invasion is about to begin. Dragon... Like, think about this, man. Dragon and Garp in the same building, the same place. A conversation's going down. By that point in time, we know, man, like, there's going to be a conversation between the two. I cannot wait to see how this arc is going to go on with this, man. Like, it's just... Man, Oda's really in this bag. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What you guys thought of this week's chapter of One Piece. Really thought it was a really good chapter. You know, again, aside from the stuff with the kingdoms, you know, the little tidbit stuff with Stelly, just some really good stuff. It was leaning towards an 8, but honestly, man, hype factor coming in. That's an amazing cliffhanger. This is a 9 out of 10 chapter. I think we would have pushed it to a 10 or something, man, if, let's say, it was Garp meeting with Dragon or something on the side. Or, like, you know, Dragon was, like, one of the knights or something just waiting and, like, hey, Dad, what's going on? Like, some crazy stuff. That happened. Oh, that would have been a crazy cliffhanger. But I can see that now happening. At least one of those chapters in the Reverie arc ending, that's going to have Dragon and Garp meeting together, and it's going to be crazy. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What did you thought of this chapter? If you guys like this review, discussion of this chapter, you know, like the video if you enjoy. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. You want to see more content from me in regards to One Piece week in and week out. Definitely consider subscribing. Click on the bell to stay notified on the channel or whatever's going on. So, with that all being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So, Commodore Laz signing off. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, take care.